Welcome, everyone. It's wonderful to look out and see so many of you here on a Thursday afternoon. I am Jody Danchuk, the coordinator of City Hall School and your MC for today's event. Today is a very special day for all of us as we gather to celebrate the 15th anniversary of the City Hall School program. In January 2000, City Hall School welcomed the first class of students. No surprise, it was a grade 6 class from Simons Valley School. These students moved their classroom to the Municipal Building and helped pilot a new Campus Calgary site, allowing young citizens a week-long opportunity to immerse themselves in civic government. And now here we are celebrating our 15th school year with over 10,000 students working alongside City of Calgary employees, community experts to learn more about city services, meeting with council members to discuss issues, developing a greater understanding of municipal governance, and exploring their role as young citizens in shaping our city. We are honored that City Hall School is well supported by City Council. I'd like to formally welcome Mayor Nenshi and members of Council today. It's also wonderful to have Dave Braun-Connier and Al Dewar join us for today's celebrations. As former mayors of Calgary, both were great supporters of our program, and we're glad that you're able to both join us today. Welcome to the General Manager of Community Services and Protective Services, Stuart Dalgleish. And I'd also like to acknowledge the City of Calgary's Community and Neighbourhood Services, who generously funds the City Hall School program and offers this program in partnership with Campus Calgary. Although our Acting Director, Katie Black, is unable to join us today, we are pleased to welcome Cynthia Bush-Hebert, the Manager of Community Programs and Services, and others also from the city in attendance today. It's wonderful to have so many of you here. Campus Calgary is supported by both of Calgary's school boards, and it is wonderful to have representation from both here today, including the Chair of the Calgary Board of Education, Joy Bonaire, and Trustee Pamela King, and the Chair of the Calgary Catholic School District, Mary Martin. Unfortunately, both Chief Superintendent David Stevenson from the Calgary Board of Education, as well as Chief Superintendent Gary Struther from the Calgary Catholic School Board, were unable to be with us and sends their regrets. I am pleased also to welcome Kathy Faber, the Superintendent of Learning Innovation at the Calgary Board of Education, and Dr. Andrew McGinn, Superintendent of Instructional Services of the Calgary Catholic School District. We are also fortunate to have many members of the Campus Calgary Open Minds Advisory here with us today, including Marlene Mulligan, co-chair of the Campus Calgary Open Minds Advisory. As well, welcome to the education coordinators, Trish Saville, Jennifer Gray, and Ida Castorma. It is wonderful to look out in the audience and see so many others who have been an integral part of this program, including former managers, assistants, Campus Calgary coordinators, and of course, Diane Murray, who was the first coordinator of the City Hall School. And Diane worked diligently for 11 years to incorporate the program into the culture of the Municipal Building and in City Hall. She continuously looked for ways to grow and expand the program, helping students, teachers, city staff, and members of council understand the rich possibilities and connections for learning that exist within this place. And I'm so glad that you're able to be here. As mentioned, each week, city employees and members of the community work alongside our students, volunteering their time and sharing their expertise. We are so glad a few of our dedicated experts can be here this afternoon and look forward to many others joining us this afternoon during our open house. As invited guests, each of you have contributed greatly to our success through your generous support, your leadership, your vision, expertise, and the time that you have taken to work with our students. In addition, you represent many others who have contributed to our success over the past 15 years, and we thank you today for your support. And please remember that today's event is also a celebration of each of you. Each week, City Hall School students look forward to visit Mayor Nenshi in his office, and I would now like to ask Mayor Nenshi to say a few words, please.
Well, thanks very much, Jody. It's great to be here with Mayor Doer and Mayor Brown-Conyer. Thank you for starting off all these great things that I get to benefit from, which I love. And I'm joined here by Councillor Sean Chu, who's been following me around all day, right, Sean? And Councillor Richard Putmans. I don't see any of the rest, but they will probably make their way. Where's Councillor Chabot? Oh, you're directly behind the photographer. Councillor Chabot is here as well. So, when I was first elected mayor, there's a week between being elected and actually being sworn in. And in that week, there's a very funny story about how I thought, I should probably talk to the mayor. And I did. And I was in Mayor Brown-Conyer's office on I think it was the day after the election. And Mayor Brown-Conyer was telling me what to do, showing me where the washroom was, all that important stuff. And at some point he said, okay, wait right here. And he made me stand up in the corner, and suddenly he started moving the furniture around. And I had no idea what he was up to. And he said, this is going to be the highlight of your week, every single week. And sure enough, he pushed all the furniture up against the walls with his chief of staff. My chief of staff never pushes the furniture up against the wall. I have to do it. Well, other people do it. But, I was going to say, I have to do it myself. And then I saw Franco was standing right there going, oh, do you now? Sometimes I do it myself. And sure enough, in came the kids, and they got a double bonus because they got 2 mayors that particular day. Do you remember that, Diane? And he was right. It is, in fact, the best 30 minutes of my week. Spending time with young kids and old kids. We had grade 11s this year for the first time. They didn't fit in my office. Too big. But it was remarkable, and it is truly a wonderful program, and I'm so happy to be celebrating the 15th anniversary with you today. We've had thousands and thousands of students visit this classroom, this building, entering council chambers to learn about citizenship, about democracy, about the city, about the services we provide. And we've had so many great highlights. I remember standing in this room and white-hatting the Governor General of Canada, who just wanted to do that ceremony with children, which was amazing. And it works because students make it work, parent volunteers make it work, teachers in the community make it work, and all of them have been exposed to what we do at the city, and they come away with a better understanding of government and how it works. I've been watching this great slideshow, and I noticed a comment from one of the parents saying, I'm learning so much about how the city works, which is terrific. Because we are incredibly blessed, and every day I have gratitude that we live in a place where government works well, and where dedicated public servants go to work every single day to make it work better. There's a giant tree in that picture. And it has impact. City Hall School is where we expose future leaders to the meaning of citizenship, what it means to be more engaged in the community. I want you to reflect on this for a minute. As you heard from Jody, the first participants arrived in January 2000, a grade 6 class from Simons Valley Elementary. I'm actually surprised that school is that old. Those students are 26 years old now. So they have had the ability to participate in a number of elections during their time since they've become adults. It says here 2 municipal elections, so I'm doing my math right, 3 municipal elections, as a matter of fact. Some of them will have just turned 18 3 elections ago. And many of them volunteered for a candidate, they voted, and all of this starts young. Building those citizenship habits starts young. In an era where voter turnout is in decline, where voter participation and citizenship amongst young people in particular is in decline, it's really important that these people have this foundational experience when they're young in the community, and it makes a huge, huge difference. Whenever I meet with City Hall School, I always start our time together by asking, what's your favorite part of the week been so far? And I love hearing the answers. And every single week, someone tells me something I've never heard before. They ask me a question I've never had before. Now, they always ask me why I like the color purple, but I get lots of other questions too. And the kids tell me about how they've explored our history, how they've learned about neighboring communities, how they've discovered public art. For many of them, for a surprisingly large number of them, this may be the first time they've ever come downtown and experienced this part of the community. They've had the opportunity to work with many of my colleagues across the City of Calgary to understand how we serve people every single day. And the questions are amazing. I try to get the students towards the end of the week, so they've had an opportunity to think about what they've done and so on, and they're investigating complex issues. Every week there's a theme, and the themes can be unbelievably deep and the students really try and think about what is it that the city faces. And they delve into issues like housing, sustainable growth, poverty, homelessness, the kinds of things that we work on every single day. But one thing is always in common, and that is that they are always tremendously proud to be Calgarians. And they're tremendously proud to live in this community, and they're always able to articulate what they hope for the future. When I first started, I used to think every time I said, how could the city be better, the kids would always say skate parks and soccer fields. And they do often say skate parks and soccer fields, Kurt. But they do say lots of other things about what kind of a community they want to build, what kind of a community they want to participate in as they grow up. And I always remind them, I'm wearing my number 3 today, I always remind them that they don't have to wait to be active citizens, that they can use their hands and their voices and their hearts to be better citizens now. So we always talk about 3 things for Calgary, and I encourage the students in their classrooms, sometimes to the teacher's chagrin, to participate in 3 things for Calgary. And I've heard stories of clothing donation drives, cards being dropped off at neighbors' houses anonymously at Christmas time, schools planning naturalization areas. I have a great program called Mayor for a Day where we invite junior high and high school students to write an essay about what they would do if they were mayor, and one of them gets to be mayor for the day and I get a day off. It's awesome. And this past year, the student winner told me that her interest in municipal politics started when she too had attended City Hall School when she was younger. So that's really what this is about. It's about citizenship, active citizenship, helping young people understand they have a role to play to continue to shape Calgary into a strong, vibrant, engaged community, both as young people and as they grow into adulthood. This program has taken a lot of work over 15 years by a lot of people, and you've heard some of the names already. But I particularly want to thank our partners at the 2 school boards, the Calgary Board of Education and the Calgary Catholic School District, for all your hard work, to the Campus Calgary coordinators, and particularly to those who worked hard in this room. Diane, thank you. And in particular, Jody, you're doing an amazing job every single week with these students. So thank you for giving them that experience. It makes a difference, and it will continue to make a difference through their lives. So happy 15th birthday. Here's to another great 15 years.
Thank you, Mayor Nancy, not only for your words today, but also for generously giving your time to our program. We look forward.
I've only ever missed 2.
Not very many. We'll see you tomorrow at some time. Sometime. We'll figure that out. I would now like to, I'm not joking actually, we are going tomorrow. I would now, 12:30 now. I would now like to invite Cynthia Bush-Hebert, Manager of Community and Neighborhood Services, let me try that again. Cynthia Bush-Hebert, Manager of Community and Neighborhood Services with Community Programs and Services, to speak.
Thank you, Jody. Good afternoon, everyone. I'm very pleased to be here today to celebrate City Hall's 15th anniversary. I'm here today on behalf of Katie Black, our Acting Director of Community Neighborhood Services. She's sorry she couldn't join us today, but she's down east visiting family and her daughter at university. But she does send her congratulations and best wishes. On behalf of Katie and all of CNS, I'd like to extend sincere thanks to the staff who have been so involved in the work, especially Jody Danchuk, our City Hall School Coordinator, who has worked directly with the students, the parents, the teachers to create such a great learning experience for our Calgary students. In addition, I would like to extend sincere thanks to Diane Murray. We're so pleased you could join us today, Diane, who has worked as our coordinator of City Hall School for the first 11 years. This opportunity allowed students to learn, experience, and practice on location. Our own Calgary Alderman at the time, Bob Hawksworth, heard of the program's success and put the wheels in motion to secure City Hall as one of its key locations. The city's corporate property transformed this room, an old committee room, into its current storefront classroom, demonstrating that the city does value its young citizens. City Hall School accepted its first students in March of 2000. It accepted 6 pilot classes under Diane Murphy's leadership as its first coordinator, quickly becoming a full-time site offering 27 week-long class experiences at City Hall. In the week of May 1st, 2014, we were able to celebrate the 10,000th student participating in this program. City staff have embraced City Hall School, seeking feedback from students on everything from urban commercial centers to parks programming. While at City Hall School, students' notion of community is broadened as they explore the city as a corporation, our neighboring communities, and the citizens who live in them. We know that feeling connected in a community strengthens a community, making those that live within it wanting to make it a better place to live. We are thrilled for the long-term partnership with Campus Calgary in delivering the City Hall program. I'd like to acknowledge the support of both school boards represented here today. It is through this work of working together through partnerships that we can provide this important opportunity for our Calgary students. Thank you for sharing this important milestone with us today. We are looking forward to working together to continue providing a unique learning opportunity for the students of our great city. Happy anniversary, City Hall School.
Thank you so much, Cynthia. As mentioned, Campus Calgary is supported by both Calgary school boards. To speak on their behalf, I would like to reintroduce Kathy Faber, Superintendent of Learning Innovation at the Calgary Board of Education, and Dr. Andrew McGinn, Superintendent of Instructional Services of the Calgary Catholic School District.
Thank you. So thank you, Jody, and to the mayors. It's a pleasure to be here today to celebrate an event that we've been following and looking at very closely for many years. The power of Campus Calgary Open Minds in this particular program is that it has shone a light on how we think about guiding students and supporting student learning right across our school system. And I'm sure, Andra, we've been working hard the last 2 years to move this to a sustainable model. We've brought it in-house in terms of organizing it around the 2 school boards so that we know that it has a long and prosperous, we hope, future for our students. But I want to speak a little bit about the learning model it represents. So many of you have been following, I think, the work of public education and the way in which we are framing out student success by working in community and talking about the success of our students in context of mathematics or social studies or science or English language arts. And as our mayor has already mentioned, these topics are contextualized when students come here for an experience. So we're able to build out learning opportunities that speak to high degrees of success in our programs of study. We're able to talk about the way we create community support for that work. I'm very pleased to have our chair of our advisory council here and many members of that advisory council supporting us. So we hold Campus Calgary Open Minds and this program in particular up as a future model for education. We use it extensively to talk to our trustees, and we have 2 of them with us today, which is very encouraging and supportive of this work. We use this program to model learning for the future, and as the mayor mentioned, we started this year with our first high school program, coming into this facility and working in this school for the first, it's a first for our work in Campus Calgary Open Minds, and we're going to be opening it up to more of our high schools and looking at how our high school students can participate more actively. We've had great success with our elementary students. We track that and measure that as we go. As a matter of fact, we'll be celebrating some of that work in the board meeting at our next meeting. So I want to congratulate those of you. There's been many hands to this work. I know that the city has worked very hard. Oftentimes when we talk about those success stories, this is the place we come to. So congratulations, Jody, to you, Diane, to you, Trish and Jennifer, to you, and to the many, many people who make this program work. It's going to continue. We have great plans for the future. So thank you very much.
Good afternoon, everyone. Well, I love a birthday or an anniversary. It's a great opportunity to celebrate. And as Kathy has said in Mayor Nenshi, there's a lot to celebrate today. I think it's wonderful that there are people in the room who were here for the inception of this idea and who really worked to have it come to fruition. And I hope you feel really proud of how it has evolved and the difference that it has made in a lot of young people's lives. Mayor Nenshi and Kathy talked about that whole idea of contextualizing learning for our students and that whole idea of contributing to citizenship. I was thinking one of the things you might be interested in knowing, we do a lot of surveys with our students and parents. We do a lot of work on research and literature. What is it that makes the most successful education for young people? And sometimes when we come up with the answers, you're inclined to think, well, my common sense always told me that before all of that research and literature and work and surveys. And guess what it is? It's students being engaged in what they're learning and feeling that their learning is real and connects to their real life. And that's when students are the most successful. That's when they get excited. And that's what City Hall School is all about. And it's that whole idea of students being able to be a part of something that is part of their life. And that is what contributes to us having productive citizens who leave school. You know, one thing we know in education is that school boards cannot do it on their own. We need these collaborative partnerships to bring that whole synergy, energy, that excitement. You know, as we work together, like in our school districts, our trustees, our administration, our parents, our students, our staff, but we're not an entity on our own. We have to work with our community partners. We need those partnerships and relationships if we're going to do the best job possible for our young people. And I think Calgary is a wonderful example of that, and a wonderful example of those kinds of dynamic partnerships that are going on. So huge thank you to the leaders who make those partnerships happen and to the people who contribute to the great successes we have. Kathy and I believe this only is going to get better and better, and I think we'll keep seeing this evolve. So happy anniversary. I think it's a great reason for celebration today, and Calgary has a lot to celebrate. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Kathy and Andra. I'd like to welcome Marlene Mulligan, co-chair, to speak on behalf of the Campus Calgary Open Minds Advisory.
Thank you, Jody. Thank you so much for the invitation to be here today. Empowering young citizens within Calgary. I can't imagine a more effective way of doing that than being immersed in this institution of citizenry for a whole week. And when I was preparing my thoughts for today, I thought, what would have been for me if I had had that experience when I was a young person? How would that have shaped my idea of citizenship? And how might that have changed my path? And then I thought, hold on, I could really benefit from a week in City Hall School right now. As my volunteer role as the co-chair for the Community Advisory Committee for Campus Calgary Open Minds, I've been asked to add today a little bit about the longevity of the program and its overall role in the community. So as was mentioned earlier, the program started 21 years ago with a one-week pilot at the Calgary Zoo initiated by a CBE science teacher. And Jill Kidd just knew that kids would learn about science better if they could actually experience it. And she set out to start creating an education program that would provide these experiences for kids. The program has grown from that 1 week of programming to 260 weeks of programming in Calgary last year alone, so times 21 years, at 11 different sites, like City Hall. Campus Calgary Open Minds is far from being just about science, with the possibility of touching all of today's and tomorrow's curriculum outcomes, governance and citizenship, to architecture and design, to art and history. Overall, the program has reached 3,500 teachers and 92,500 students in Calgary. And each year we're turning away classes, actually, because there aren't enough sites to meet the demand. And this is a gap worth closing. City Hall School is actually a rock star among these sites. It's a model of community learning. And I'll highlight just 3 kind of factoids that, for me, speak to that. So it's one of the most popular sites. Last year, as was mentioned, 27 weeks of programming available, but actually there were 49 classes that applied. So almost half of the classes that wanted to be here couldn't, just last year alone. City Hall School has the unique ability to connect our children with elected officials, turning them into real people with important jobs that they too might someday could possibly do. And finally, connecting students with such a large number and variety of experts, those experts being City of Calgary employees, that help them learn about municipal governance, issues facing the city, what an entrepreneurial spirit is, what ethical citizenship is. Bringing real meaning to these fundamental concepts could simply not be made possible in a classroom, and arguably couldn't be done any better than the work being done here at City Hall School. So, City Hall School, congratulations on this exciting milestone, and thank you from the community for your commitment and excellence in engaging our students and teachers in your work. Calgary is better for it.
Thank you, Marlene. Marlene said she wondered what it might be like to come to City Hall School for a week. Well, and the impact that has. So we are very fortunate to have with us today a former City Hall School student who I just happened to meet this spring here at the City of Calgary. Ultimately, everything we do at City Hall School is for students, so it's wonderful to have her with us. I'm especially honored to introduce to you Morgan McLaren, who wishes to say a few words. Morgan?
Good afternoon. Excuse me, I have a bit of a cold. So I had the opportunity to attend City Hall School with my grade 6 class from Valley Creek Middle School with my teacher, Mr. Christensen. That was 9 years ago, and although that was quite a ways back, I know the experience was nothing but positive. It was one awesome week where we got to ride a city bus down to City Hall. We had the opportunity to learn about what the City of Calgary does and how municipal government operates. I remember sitting in on a council meeting as well and sketching what we saw. I also got the chance to meet our mayor at the time, Dave Brown-Kanye. When we returned to school, we built our own mini-city and were assigned our roles to show us how much the city is responsible for. To me, actually seeing City Hall was huge to helping me understand the role of government. I know that because I went, it sparked my engagement with government. I learned the importance in voting in grade 6, and it definitely influenced me to always exercise my right. I'm currently in my 4th year of my Bachelor of Design at the Alberta College of Art and Design. This past summer, I was inspired to apply to an internship at the City of Calgary because of my experience here at City Hall School. I was lucky enough to be a part of creative services as a design summer student. In full circle, I actually got to design the annual report for City Hall School. Overall, every opportunity I have had at the city has been rewarding. The amount of influence City Hall School has had on my life has been great, from voting to taxes, my career, and how I view the City of Calgary. I'm thankful for Mr. Christensen for taking us down here 9 years ago, as well for all the opportunities the City of Calgary has provided for me. Thank you.
Thank you, Morgan. It is wonderful to have you representing the City Hall School alumni and hear how your experiences within the program have influenced you. I would now like to ask Morgan and Mayor Nenshi to do the honor of cutting the cake for our event today. If I could also ask Cynthia, Kathy, Andra, Marlene, and Diane to join us for the photo too, as well.
Great.
Let's let the mayors and then this is great.
Just don't let them near the knife.